next talk will actually look at how the Cosmos SDK brings new features towards Ethereum. So we'll be exploring the Cosmos EVM with no one else, and we've already mentioned his name before, Vlad Jidkov. Please be very, very welcome on stage and put your hands together, yes, from Cosmos Labs. Super curious to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So we've already heard about Cosmos. So Mag talked a little bit about the current state of Cosmos, who's using it, what we've been doing. Barry's been talking about the tech, so what we have coming up on the more technical perspective. And then we had Nico and Robo talking about the Cosmos Hub and Atom, what's coming up next, how we're going to be working with the community, things like that. Now, we're going to be talking a little bit more about the technical chapter. I'm going to be talking about the EVM stack, how that helps push Cosmos forward, how we can go beyond the current Ethereum stack and upgrade that using Cosmos. And then later on, Devin's going to show you a quick demo, do some vibe coding on the Cosmos stack using the EVM. My presentation's titled Beyond Ethereum, Using Cosmos to Advance the EVM. So a little bit about me. I've been in Cosmos for a few years now. I actually started out as a Cosmosm developer, then started slowly moving up the stack, became a stack developer, and earlier this year, joined Cosmos Labs as a senior software engineer. And then since joining, I've been very, very focused and very excited about bringing Cosmos EVM to light. So the Ethereum ecosystem is arguably the biggest blockchain ecosystem today. It's got over 30,000 active developers, 10,000 of which are active every single month. It's got hundreds of developer tools and resources like Foundry, like Forge, and many, many more. And it's very trusted. There's $100 billion plus in total value across many L2s, many L1s that are using Ethereum today. And examples of those are Uniswap, Morpho, and things like that. But it's far from perfect. So on Ethereum and many other L1s and L2s, users actually spend over $1 billion in fees per year. All of this is spent by users, applications, vendors for automation and stuff like that. And the average Ethereum transaction is 40 cents, which is really, really high. You have vendor lock-in. So for very basic things that exist in Web 2, like automation, information brought from the internet or from external sources, and bridging, you actually need external vendors. So these are dependencies and reliabilities that you have to focus on and pay that are oftentimes third-party. Ethereum and other L2s are public. They're shared infrastructure. So if you ever face congestion on those chains, if there's any large event, your application is impacted directly. Running your own node and running with this shared application means you have to download everyone else's application. You have to work alongside them. If there's like an airdrop that happens, everybody's claiming it, that means your gas fees go up for your platform as well. And then no sovereignty means you're at the whim of chain governance. You're at the whim of very many political battles, and changing the chain is very, very difficult to do. And this brings you to low ownership and control. So the L2 stack and very many L2 stacks are difficult to customize. We have teams spending months and even years trying to get the features they want. You have no options for privacy. All of this is open by default. You can't even set private nodes because someone can access another one. And you can't even control where your tokens go. So you have no control over the bridging. It's very, very open. And so for a lot of institutions, this is insufficient. So what if you could get the best of Ethereum with none of the downsides that we just mentioned? This is where we introduce the Cosmos EVM. This is the only open source layer 1 stack that lets you build and spin up an EVM chain in minutes. So some of the benefits that we have. Firstly, you fully own your infrastructure. You run all of your nodes. You can control who connects to it. You can control how big or small your machines are. And you have full control over that. Oracles and automation are built right into the chain. You no longer have to pay third-party vendors to automate your systems to get information from elsewhere. All of that is fully built in. You decide where the chain is hosted, you decide how many nodes exist, and you decide who uses it and builds on top of it. All of this harnesses the Cosmos SDK. And a big benefit of this is that the Cosmos SDK is built to be changeable, it's built to be modular and extensible, unlike very many L2s. This has a strong foundation of features. So you have governance modules, you have easy protocol upgrades, you have flexible account modules, and the best thing about all of these is that if you don't like, some of the ways that some of them work, it's very, very easy to change them, change the configs, change the rules around them. And you get all of these benefits without losing any of the compatibility with Ethereum. So for the past year, we've been focused on bringing Cosmos EVM to a fully Ethereum-compatible state, so your developers don't even notice the difference between using these L2s in Ethereum and using the Cosmos EVM. And this means you have support for dozens and dozens of popular tools, and everything works right out of the box. So let me show you why this matters with a quick real-life example. Institutions want to tokenize securities. But unfortunately, on Ethereum and a bunch of L2s, which is where all the developers are, there's a bunch of deal breakers. So first of all, you can't enforce investor rules on the protocol level. Whatever rules Ethereum and their nodes have are something that you inherit. If you block out an address, someone else can just spin up a new wallet, use your system as is. You have third-party bridge risk. Like I said before, you don't have a native bridge. You have to use what someone else has built. You have to rely on that. And unfortunately, since 2021, there's been over $4 billion lost to bridge hacks. It's a massive amount and a massive risk for institutions. And finally, you can't automate and do simple things like dividend distribution without recurring vendor cost. Every time you submit an automation onto the Ethereum blockchain, you're paying gas fees, you're paying vendors to do it. It's very complicated. And so with Cosmos, all of these problems disappear. First of all, you have protocol-level compliance. Again, you choose who can and can't use your chain. You can't just create a new wallet and circumvent these measures. So you can whitelist accredited investors, you can blocklist whoever you don't want using your chain, and you can build KYC checks directly into the chain and use your existing systems. And again, these cannot be bypassed. We have 0 external dependencies, so you can automate, you can control every part of the block, you can deploy something before, after, during, and you don't need to pay gas, or you can selectively choose who pays gas, who doesn't. So you can have 0 fees for some users, and you can have some fees for other users. And this runs at the block level and eliminates all vendor cost. These are all actions that you can complete. And then finally, we have a high level of economic control. So because you control your bridge, because you have custom gas prices, you can control who pays what, and you can control who gets your tokens on what chain. So speaking about the $4 billion of bridge hack risk that we talked about before, we have IBC. This has never been hacked. We've had 0 bridge hacks since inception and strong security guarantees. We have breakers if there's large amounts of assets being moved and that's not something you're expecting. You have full ownership over bridging. This is natively baked in into the protocol. And you have no third-party involvement if you don't want any. You can connect directly to any public chain. So Ethereum, L2s, Solana is being built right now. Or any private partner institution chain that uses IBC. And then finally, you have full control over import and export of any asset. So to give a quick technology comparison, we bring sovereignty to the best parts of the Ethereum stack. As you can see, we have a rich developer ecosystem and robust tooling that does not disappear just because you use Cosmos. You inherit that from all of the Ethereum L1s and the Ethereum-based L2s. Fees are customizable, unlike these alternatives. For bridging, you control it. You're not at risk to third-party bridge hacks. And for automation, it's built directly into the chain. You have full control. You have full access to anything you want to do. Cosmos EVM is the only solution for sovereign EVM L1s. You can spin these up in minutes. You can very easily customize them. You have access to Ethereum's proven ecosystem, access to their developers without any of the compromises. You have true ownership, true sovereignty, and compliance that you can build straight into the protocol that cannot be circumvented. So now, you no longer have to choose between Ethereum developers and full sovereignty in your institutional requirements. Thank you. If you're ready to launch a sovereign EVM chain, please reach out to us, institutions@cosmoslabs.io. We'll be really excited to help you, work alongside you, to help you integrate Cosmos EVM. Thanks.
Wow.